Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and honestly, sometimes terrifying psychology of our digital selves. We are going to answer a really simple but profoundly important question. Why does the internet fundamentally change human behavior?
But first, I want you to start by asking yourself something. Who are you when no one is watching? Seriously, think about it. Not the person you are at work, not who you are with your family, but who you are when it's just you, a glowing screen, and a keyboard. Does the person you are in physical reality actually match the carefully curated or maybe completely unleashed identity that you project online?
You know, to really understand this, we have to look at a brilliant historical concept that has just been massively amplified by the digital age. Oscar Wilde once wrote, "Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth." When you hand someone a mask, you completely remove their social breaks. And the internet, well, as we'll see, the internet is the ultimate mask. So here is a quick look at how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the digital mask, move into the 6 ingredients of disinhibition, look at our two faces online, explore the modern amplifiers, and wrap up with how we can restore good friction. Okay, section 1, the digital mask, life as a digital theater. Sociologists have long said that life is essentially a theater. But right now, the internet is humanity's biggest stage by far. And the curation we do on that stage carries some real heavy weight. A recent Pew study actually revealed that over 68% of users feel this intense pressure to present an idealized version of themselves online. Basically, we are meticulously hiding our messy daily reality behind carefully chosen pixels and filters. It's not real life at all, it's identity curation. And that curation brings us to the core reason why a perfectly kind person in real life might suddenly turn aggressively mean online. It's known as the Online Disinhibition Effect. Psychologists coined this term back in 2004, and it essentially means this: the internet totally removes our social breaks. Literally all the normal rules and hesitations that stop us from acting out in a crowded coffee shop, they completely disappear the second we log on.
Moving on to section 2, the 6 ingredients of disinhibition, removing the breaks.
So, how exactly do we lose those breaks? Psychologist Dr. John Suler identified 6 specific factors that mix together like a crazy recipe to erase our real-world consequences. First up is anonymity. That's the "you don't know me" shield. Second is invisibility, because you don't have to look someone in the eye when you're being cruel. Third is asynchronicity, meaning you can leave a nasty comment and just instantly log off. Fourth is solipsistic introjection. Now that's a fancy academic term, but it basically just means you read their text in your own voice, making the whole argument feel like it's happening inside your own head. Fifth is dissociative imagination, this weird illusion that the internet is just a make-believe video game. And finally, minimization of authority, where online a powerful CEO and an anonymous troll feel like total equals.
All of these ingredients create a really wild dynamic. Jonathan Sachs hit the nail on the head when he noted that you can be remarkably ruder electronically because the exchange is entirely depersonalized. When you combine factors like invisibility and asynchronicity, it becomes incredibly, dangerously easy to commit an emotional hit and run without ever having to stick around to face the victim's reaction.
Let's look at section 3, the two faces online, the frictionless mirror. Here is where things get really interesting. The internet acts as a frictionless mirror. It simply reflects and amplifies our existing human nature. So losing our social breaks isn't inherently evil. It actually pushes us in 2 completely different directions. On one side, we have benign disinhibition. This is where people show incredible empathy, make massive anonymous charity donations, or find safe havens to express their authentic selves, like in VR chat support groups. But on the flip side, we have toxic disinhibition. This is where those exact same anonymous conditions allow cyberbullying, organized mob harassment, and hidden darknet markets to absolutely thrive. Just to give you an idea of the staggering scale of that toxic side, research shows a shocking 44.6% of adults admit to carrying out some form of cyber dating abuse or digital aggression towards a partner. Just let that sink in. The lack of friction has made this kind of hostile behavior disturbingly normal. And here is perhaps the wildest stat of all. A Stanford study found that 75% of online hate speech comes from people who have absolutely zero history of aggression in the physical, offline world. No way, right? But it's true. It is the digital environment itself that is pulling this shadow self right to the surface. Which brings us to section 4,
The modern amplifiers, pouring gasoline on the fire. When you take Seuler's 2004 psychology and mix it with the modern web we use today, it is quite literally like pouring gasoline on a fire. Think about it. Today's algorithms actively reward outrage by pushing it to the very top of our feeds. Then we face context collapse, which is what happens when your boss, your family, and complete strangers are all suddenly judging the exact same post. We also have the Proteus effect, where our brains subconsciously take on the actual personality traits of our digital avatars. And if you add AI interactions to the mix, well, experts are seriously worried we are slowly wearing down our real-world empathy. Now, as you might guess, this kind of environment is an absolute magnet for specific personalities. When researchers look at internet trolls operating in these digital mobs, they find they are heavily driven by the dark triad of personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. But they also possess a really dangerous fourth ingredient: everyday sadism. That means they are gaining genuine, actual pleasure from making other people suffer. So the absolutely crucial takeaway for you here is that "don't feed the trolls" is not just some casual internet meme. It is a scientifically sound defense strategy. Trolls desperately crave your attention and your outrage, just to manage their own feelings of powerlessness. Ignoring them entirely, that is literally the most scientifically effective way to strip them of their power. Let's move to our final section: restoring good friction, designing a better web. Now, I know this all sounds a bit bleak, but we are definitely not powerless here. Experts are pushing hard for platforms to move away from purely frictionless design and start adding what they call good friction. Think of simple pop-ups asking, "Are you sure you want to post this?" when you type something inflammatory. But hey, it's also on us. We have to actively practice digital empathy. We need to remember there's a real, breathing human being behind that avatar, and we have to build the self-awareness to just step away from the keyboard when our emotions run hot.
I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder regarding your own digital footprint. The internet is not our destiny. It's just a series of design choices and our own personal actions. If the internet is ultimately just a frictionless mirror, what reflection will you choose to leave behind today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it changes the way you look at your very next online interaction.